Hi everyone, welcome to another Creator Spotlight episode on the Digital Forge. I'm Kyla and I'm standing in for Freya as she is off on another assignment right now, but will be back very soon. Today we're going to be speaking to SinKane and diving deep into his process and his music. Oh, and to all of you out there, he has given the Forge exclusive access to some new music, which you are about to hear a couple of clips from. So come inside with me and get settled, and whilst you do, let's hear some of SinKane's music with those exclusive, as yet unreleased tracks. See you inside.
There's no fallout at all. No voices raised, no damage done. No questions left to chase. It costs less to disappear than to hold my place. I'll take it.
Right then, you lot. I hope you're nice and settled in. Got your drink, snacks, and anything else you need, as it's time to introduce SinKane to you all. Welcome to the Digital Forge, SinKane. I am going to jump right in with the first question. How did your AI project come together, and what inspired you to start creating music with AI tools?
I used to write poetry back in the 90s, but it always felt like it stopped just short of where it needed to go. Life never really aligned for me to learn an instrument or sing. Some of that was timing and finances, but some of it was honestly mental health and access. My dad passed in late 2024 after dementia had taken most of him. I wrote a poem about that experience, and for months I kept rereading it. The words were there, but it felt incomplete. Not lacking language, but lacking substance. It needed weight. When I stumbled across Suno, something clicked. I already had the emotions, the words, the intent. I just didn't have a way to give them sound. Turning that poem into a song opened something up in me. A lot of feelings I'd kept suppressed for years suddenly had somewhere to go. Since then, it's been an ongoing process. That moment didn't just unlock one song, it became the beginning of SinKane, and a way for me to finally externalize things that had been living internally for a long time.
Do you feel that experience gives you a unique perspective when creating music with AI?
Yeah, unique is probably the right word. I don't have formal music training, so I'm not starting from theory or structure. I'm starting from emotion and meaning. What I'm trying to express and how it needs to feel. Because of that, I'm not really bound by genre rules or traditional song structures. Some tracks get labeled ritual metal, but they're just as tied to mythology and psychology as they are to metal. I'm kind of blending things intuitively rather than deliberately. I also don't come at this with much ego. If anything, there's a bit of intimidation in being seen. so the process becomes very inward. I write the lyrics, I have a clear sense of the mood and pressure I'm aiming for, and then I iterate until something resonates. Most generations aren't right, but when one clicks, I know immediately. For me, AI isn't deciding anything. It's helping me listen until the sound finally matches what was already there.
So, how would you describe your sound or style to someone hearing you for the first time?
I'd describe it as psychological metal. It's heavy, but restrained, more about pressure than aggression. A lot of the songs move slowly, build deliberately, and sit in discomfort rather than chasing big moments. There's a ritualistic feel to it, with repetition and atmosphere playing a big role. If you're into metal that feels introspective and immersive, something closer to Tool than modern genre trends, that's probably the right frame.
What artists, genres, or experiences have influenced your creative direction the most? This can be other AI artists and real-life artists.
Tool has probably been the biggest musical influence on me. Sonically, their music transports me. It builds a universe before the vocals even begin. Lyrically, I've always connected to the way their songs let you see yourself inside them, rather than telling you what to feel. Where their writing often leans spiritual or symbolic, my work is more somatic and lived in. I write about what things feel like in the body, the pressure when you try to speak, the reflex to pull back, the way certain responses fire automatically. Songs like Recoil or I'll Carry This Too come directly from those physical and emotional reactions. A lot of my creative direction comes from lived experience. My intent is to translate how the symptoms show up, the patterns, the weight, rather than the events themselves. AI fits into that process because it lets me externalize those internal sensations. It gives form to things that are hard to articulate internally, without needing to turn them into spectacle or explanation.
Which AI tools or platforms do you currently use? What do you love or struggle with about them?
I primarily use Suno for generating the sound itself, and I use tools like ChatGPT and occasionally Grok, more on the lyric side. I write all of the lyrics myself, but I'll use those tools to review them for accessibility. I want people to be able to enter the song emotionally, and sometimes I need a second pass to make sure ambiguity doesn't turn into confusion. What I love about Suno is that it allows me to do something I otherwise couldn't do at all. It lets me externalize ideas and emotions I've carried internally for a long time, and actually hear them. The challenge is that it can be rigid and unpredictable when it comes to instruction. You can be very explicit and not get what you asked for, or exclude something and still have it show up. Things like duets or clearly defined vocal roles can be especially inconsistent. So the process becomes a lot about listening and judgment. I'm not trying to force the tool to behave. I'm iterating until the sound aligns with the intent. There are times where I take pieces from several generations and combine them for the finished product. For me, AI isn't about convenience or speed. It's about translation, turning something internal into something that can be felt by someone else.
One thing that has been very evident in other Creator Spotlight episodes is that themed songs and themes in general are very important to the creators. Are there any recurring themes, messages, or moods that define your music?
Yes, there are definitely recurring themes. A lot of my music lives around pressure, endurance, and internalized silence. I tend to write about what it feels like to carry things quietly for a long time. Grief, shame, responsibility, fear, and how those things shape your behavior even when you're trying to function normally. One of the biggest through lines is restraint. Most of the songs aren't about release or resolution. They're about holding, bracing, surviving, and learning how to stay present without collapsing or exploding. There's also a recurring focus on the body, how trauma or emotion shows up physically, through tension, withdrawal, or automatic responses. For example, my song Raised on Stone talks about the inability to speak about emotions. Every time I try to speak, my pulse kicks hard, my knees go weak. I taste the words, but they don't come. I choke them back. My throat goes numb. Mood-wise, the music is often heavy but controlled, introspective rather than aggressive. Even when it gets dark, it's not about despair for its own sake. It's about awareness. Naming what's there instead of pretending it isn't. Across the albums, you can hear a shift from chaos and suppression toward recognition and integration. The themes don't disappear, but the relationship to them changes, from being overwhelmed by the weight to learning how to carry it more consciously.
Have you faced any misconceptions or resistance from others about AI music? How do you respond?
Yes, there are definitely misconceptions. Some people see AI music as a fad, and others won't even listen once they hear the word AI. That's part of any new medium. For me, I don't spend much energy pushing back against that. I write for myself first, and this process has been genuinely meaningful and liberating for me. If someone chooses not to engage because of the tool involved, that's their choice. It doesn't change the value of the work for me. When people do listen with an open mind and connect with it, that's a bonus. AI has given me a way to express things I didn't have access to before, and I'm comfortable embracing it without needing everyone to agree.
Which AI music creators really hit a chord with you, and why? Would you like to collaborate with any of them?
I'm still exploring the AI music space, honestly. A lot of my focus has been very inward, so I haven't spent as much time listening broadly as some creators do. That said, I've really appreciated spaces like the Metalhead's AI community because they give room for a wide range of approaches, from experimental to emotionally grounded. One project that stands out to me is Brain Rot Cyclops. Their work is deliberately absurd and satirical, but it's very intentional. They're clearly poking fun at metal tropes and band mythology rather than just chasing randomness. Songs like Lemmy is a God or Oh My God, Do I Hate Stryper work because there's a clear point of view behind the humor. In general, what resonates with me isn't a specific sound so much as intent. I'm drawn to creators who are using AI with purpose, whether that's humor, commentary, or something deeply personal, rather than novelty for its own sake. As for collaboration, I'm open to it if it makes sense creatively. For me, collaboration would have to be aligned in tone and purpose. It's less about pairing up for visibility and more about whether there's a shared emotional or conceptual language to work from.
I listened to the new songs you shared with us, and they are very good. So, what's next for your project? Any upcoming songs, visuals, or collaborations we should watch for?
Yes, I've just finished my latest album, What It Left Me With. It's a concept album about survival without celebration, about continuing on without needing things to feel resolved or triumphant. It rounds out the arc that began with Convergence and carried through Threshold. I've included a teaser from that album called I'll Carry This Too, which reflects on absorbing tension to keep the peace, taking on weight early so things don't escalate. It's very representative of where the project is emotionally right now. Beyond that, I'm giving myself room to explore different tones. I have a concept for an album built entirely around satire, and another idea that's more like road music, something suited for long rides and open space. Different moods, but still grounded in the same intent.
What advice would you give someone who's curious about making music with AI, but doesn't know where to start?
I think the advice is a bit subjective, but from my perspective, the best place to start is with intent rather than tools. Ask yourself what you want to say. Is there a story you're trying to tell? A feeling you want to explore? Or even something ordinary you want to look at differently? Once you have a sense of direction, jump in and start experimenting. Playing with it is part of the process, and there's something genuinely satisfying about hearing your ideas take shape for the first time. The one thing I'd caution against is chasing outcomes like fame or validation. If you come into this expecting to go viral or turn it into a career overnight, you'll probably end up disappointed. For me, the value has been in the act of creating itself, using it as a way to explore ideas, process things, or just make something honest. If anything else comes from it, that's a bonus.
What do you want the Digital Forge audience to take away from your story?
I think what I'd hope people take away is that creativity doesn't have to look a certain way to be valid. For me, AI wasn't about replacing anything. It was about removing a barrier that had been there for a long time. You don't need permission, training, or a polished identity to start creating. If there's something inside you that's unfinished or unspoken, there are more ways than ever to give it form. And beyond the tools, I'd hope people walk away with the idea that it's okay to create without chasing an outcome. The work doesn't have to fix you, impress anyone, or go anywhere. Sometimes it's enough that it exists, and that it lets you feel a little less alone. And if someone else hears themselves in it, if it names something they've been carrying quietly, then it's done more than I expected it to.
Thank you so much, SinKane, for speaking to us today. It was absolutely fascinating listening to your story. I will post links to SinKane's music in the description below. And to all of you out there, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to stay in the loop of what's going on in the AI metal scene. I am Kyla, and this is the Digital Forge. Stay safe, stay metal, and I will see you on the next one.